So you're going iPad exclusively this week?
Yeah, I don't even think my computer has a charge.
After
it almost killed me.
it tried to kill me.
I haven't even opened it back up again since I've done that. It's terrifying. I didn't want to touch it.
People will be like, how did Alex die? And I'll be like, dude, you got a Dell.
Soccer situation.
Yeah,
Throwback.
It was the 90s. That was the era when a sitcom could thrive just by having like a stupid side character, right? There'd be like the main family, and then there'd be either the cousin or the neighbor or something that'd just be like barging into the house going, dude, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, what was the...
There was Cody on Step by Step. There was Urkel on Family Matters.
They all had their own little pop-in saying.
Every 90s sitcom did. I mean, you could argue that Kramer was
Kramer was
the
iconic.
god of the... But
pop-in.
I'm not going to lump him into that category. That's disrespectful. Some of the best physical comedy of all time.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know? I don't know why we're talking about Seinfeld right now.
I don't know. We're just talking about... I don't know. How did we even get on that?
Probably because I'm weirdly sleep deprived because I started a new job this week.
Yeah.
I started a job at like a neighborhood restaurant this week, and working late night is forcing me to flip my entire circadian rhythm.
Yeah, that's a tough transition.
And it's not going well. You know, for basically the past 20 years, I've been waking up at 5 a.m. and I'm always like gassed by 2 p.m. at the latest.
Yeah.
And now I'm going into work at 5, 6 in the evening, and my body just doesn't know what to do with that situation. Yeah, I don't know. I should probably be able to adjust. Should I? I guess people do that all the time.
I think it will.
It's
going to be
about it, but,
tough, but I think you should be able to.
But my sleep deprivation isn't just my internal rhythm being off. It's also expounded by the cats.
Oh yeah,
that are much, much more entrenched in their rhythms than I am.
Yeah, those cats.
So
have
I'm
their
up
habits.
at 5 a.m. now, no matter what.
Yeah, even if you're in bed by 1 a.m., you're up at 5.
Yeah. So it's been tough to get sleep this week for sure. So this might be a wacky episode. A lot of stuff happened this week.
Yeah, it was a big week.
Here's kind of a more neutral random headline from the Premier League this week. The league has announced that it's banning betting sponsorships as of next season. This isn't really news because the UK government had announced that it was planning on banning betting sponsorships, I think, going into next season. So I think it looks like the Premier League did this to avoid government regulation, really.
Yeah, just to get ahead of it.
Right. And it's pretty funny. You know, we asked the question before that, 30-40% of the teams in the league have betting sponsors on their part, right? So is there going to be one new sketchy industry that's going to step in and sponsor all these teams?
Yeah, who's it going to be?
What industry is it going to be? Yeah. I wrote down some ideas.
Yeah. You have some good ones?
I mean, not really good ones. I put alternative medicines, but that was kind of already pioneered by LA Galaxy with Herbalife.
Oh, yeah, Herbalife.
Such a Ponzi scheme.
Yep.
An obvious one seems like energy drinks.
I was going to say energy drinks.
There's a million of them.
Yeah.
They're all tacky as hell, just as tacky as the betting sponsor logos. They come and go. They're probably just as easy to launder money through as betting companies.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's probably the most likely one will be energy drinks. Obviously, Red Bull will be affronted. They'll turn up their noses at this.
Yeah, no. Red Bull only likes it if they can own an entire team, basically, and have their name involved in it.
Right. Another option I thought was maybe crypto, of course. You could see crypto logos. Although I don't know if that's any less sketchy than betting. TikTok?
Social media companies.
Social media is a good one, yeah. TikTok already sponsors Wrexham.
That's right, yeah.
I had on here, I would like to see streaming services.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I'm a streamaholic.
Netflix.
And I would love to have a Netflix and HBO.
Yeah.
A Paramount Plus team. I want to see a Peacock team. That'd be
Peacock
my team.
team
I want
would be amazing.
Brentford to be a Peacock team.
Yeah,
dude.
that'd be awesome. Streaming services would be good.
Right? It'd be funny.
I would like that. I would like a Netflix one with that big red N.
I
It
want-
would look good on some kits.
I want HBO Max.
HBO Max would be cool.
I want
Paramount Plus wouldn't be bad.
Paramount Plus would be classy, dude.
I think it would look pretty good
Yeah.
as a sponsor.
Yeah. That's a nice logo, honestly. Nice
It'd be
job,
really
Paramount.
interesting to see where these sponsors go for real. Like,
Right.
because so many teams have relied on the bet sponsorships for so long now.
Yeah, it's true. It's been a nice like filler sponsorship industry for clubs that can't really attract bigger names.
Like actual big name sponsors.
Anyway, there's been some big games this week. We should probably talk about football. There have obviously been some massive sackings this week,
Yeah,
too.
lots of manager movement.
And I think we'll just tie the two together. Let's dive in with Crystal Palace 2, Leicester 1. Rough and tumble game.
Yep.
Not super pretty. Most importantly, at the end, Leicester fell into the relegation zone. When they did, I wondered at the time, I made note of a little tasteless joke. I said, I wonder if Brendan gets relegated, I wonder if he's going to have to go back to his fat wife. For those who don't know, Brendan Rodgers underwent like a really shameless and tasteless glow up when he got the Liverpool job. He clearly saw himself as moving up in the world. He lost about 40 pounds.
Yep, he got
he got his teeth done. He got a spray tan, and
he came back a whole different man.
He lost his homely wife.
Yep.
And came in with some proper wag trash.
Yep.
That's probably too harsh. I don't even know what his current wife looks like.
I don't either, but he definitely
he went for a midlife crisis upgrade, full blown. It was so funny. So I'm not just talking shit about his fat wife for it having a good joke along with it.
No. I mean, it was just so funny because it was so obvious. He didn't do it slowly over time. He did it over like a summer.
It coincided with a really gaudy documentary. Now we have these kind of cool documentaries, the Amazon All or Nothing, the F1 Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
The services have kind of figured out the formula.
It seems like it.
They're really hip, and now these leagues kind of want to play along. At the time, there was one called Being Liverpool. Who was it produced by? Netflix?
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Netflix.
I think it was Netflix.
But it was bad.
Because they did Sunderland too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so bad, and Brendan Rodgers was the worst possible candidate to lead that. He was straight up David Brent from The Office.
Yeah,
just like ultra cringe. Everything was a gimmick.
Yep.
All of his behaviors were so staged. And again, in the middle of all that, we had this midlife crisis just on full display.
Just full on film.
Yeah.
Captured forever.
Anyway, I feel like we should...
I want to go back and watch
kind of
that
tally
now.
away from this, and I should kind of cap it by saying I do respect Rodgers as a coach. He's done a lot of really great stuff. He's just kind of a goofy dude.
It's kind of interesting. I don't really know where it went wrong this year with Leicester with him.
Right.
You kind of, in the back of my mind, I always assumed it would just work. Like, they have decent players.
Mm-hmm.
Brendan's a good manager. They're just going to comfortably cruise mid-table.
Right. Yeah, I on NBC today when they announced it, I think Rebecca Lowe said they've kind of been sleepwalking into the relegation zone. And
It's
I think
true.
That's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah, that is a perfect way to put it.
And I think Rodgers is a little bit. He's got precedent for that. You know, he's so stoic. He always wants to exhibit such an air of control.
Yeah.
That he's afraid to admit that they're at panic stations. And he tries to play it so calm. He did the same thing at Liverpool when they were sinking under him.
Yeah.
He tried to play it so stoic. You know, he acted so surprised when he got sacked.
Yeah.
You know, like it was out of nothing.
Yeah, even though it was clearly coming.
Anyway, Brendan, I appreciate you getting sacked again, if only so I can recycle the Henri Carragher gif, as I will always trot out at the slightest opportunity, but this is actually a legit
Yeah, that one
opportunity.
actually fits perfectly.
Yes, so thank you.
Thank you, Brendan.
Thank you, Brendan.
We'll see you again soon, I'm sure.
Poor Brendan was even upstaged on his sacking day, though.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
Yeah. With
Poor
that,
man.
we should move on to Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 2.
Yes.
A really convincing win by Aston Villa.
Yeah, Villa looked good.
Unai a little bit more settled than Graham Potter is at Chelsea.
Yeah, Unai, I mean, he's a man for a big occasion.
Yeah. Did you watch that game? You did.
Yeah.
I went back and watched it as well. And, man, Villa had a lot of chances. Ollie Watkins had probably 5 chances in the first 15 minutes.
I know. His finish, too, was really good, wasn't it?
Fantastic. I loved it.
Ugh,
I feel like
beautiful.
we've seen a lot of good lobs this year.
Beautiful little dinks all over the
It's
place.
the year of the lob.
Yeah, I love it.
It's back.
Yeah, it's a classic finish, and it's been happening all over the place.
Right?
I love it. But yeah, so Chelsea in trouble, and they did something that we kind of predicted they wouldn't do.
Yeah, I think if we went back through the timeline, if I really wanted to dive into the archives and do a cool edit, I could find a really steady degradation of my confidence in Graham Potter staying throughout. At first, I was like, there's no way they'll be dumb enough to sack him before the summer. What we're alluding to, we should say outright, is that Graham Potter has been sacked as well. A little bit more of a high-profile sacking than Brendan Rodgers at Leicester. And I think it's a mistake still. You know, as I was just saying, we had growing confidence that he was going to be pushed out.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I think it's the right move necessarily. Especially, we're going to talk in a minute about how late in the season this is to do this. It's pretty strange. They're middle of the table. That's a bummer. They're not going to climb back up into the European places. They're not going to get relegated.
Nope.
So they had very little to lose. What people are already pointing to is the fact that there are a few candidates on the market. And again, we're going to circle back to that. But on Potter in particular, I think he deserved more time. It's kind of a bummer. And I think it shows a lot of naivety by Todd Bowley and the Chelsea management that they're impulsively jumping on other managers being in the market.
Yeah, and
when they've invested in Potter already.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, they gave him a long-term contract. They showed a lot of confidence in him. They bought a lot of players.
Right.
And that clearly there's a huge project to be on their hands there. There's a lot that has to turn over for that system and those purchases to like make sense and work.
Yeah, it was always going to take a long time. And I had assumed that ownership understood that, but now I'm starting to think that they don't.
Right.
So it seemed at first like Potter was a really, really smart long-term appointment.
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, man, they're doing the right thing. Uh-oh, this isn't good. But then when you saw their behavior in the transfer market, it didn't jive. They were super impulsive. They were buying the hottest targets of the moment.
Yep.
They really, really overbought in the front line, and they haven't balanced their team in the back. It really shows. We were laughing at the lineup when they showed it.
So
and how hilariously unbalanced it was. And now it makes me think that Bowley wasn't really intelligently looking at Potter. I think he was just so naive that he saw him as a hot manager of the moment.
Yeah.
The same way that he sees Nagelsmann as a hot manager of the moment right now.
Yep.
I don't think that he had any more insight than that after all. I just gave him the credit for it.
Yeah, we thought they
Everybody
finally
did,
made a smart
you know?
decision, and it seems like it was just a lucky guess.
Right? It seems like that. It's pretty interesting. Like, how dumb is that? Maybe I'm just fantasizing about how dumb this guy can possibly be.
I mean, we can only hope
right?
that he is truly this dumb. And the project does continue to do kind of what, United's been doing for a while.
Right.
And like just cycling through hot managers, and buying a bunch of players that don't quite fit.
Yeah, spending way too much.
Spending too much money.
Until an owner gets fed up.
Yeah, exactly.
So now, remember I've been complaining about Liverpool having to play Chelsea 3 days after City.
Yep.
Now Liverpool get to find out if Chelsea were on strike under Potter, if those players just didn't respect him.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the reason he had to go. We'll see if there's a major bounce.
Yeah.
Or we'll see if it's just a genuine mess, as it seems to be.
Yeah, and it wasn't Potter's fault at all.
A new manager's not going to come in and magically balance that squad, I'll tell you that.
No, there's no fixing that squad overnight.
Anyway, Potter being gone is part of a trend, as we alluded to earlier. It's really, really strange to have a series of managerial cullings this late in the season.
Yeah, this is super, super late in the year.
It's like climate change is affecting managerial, the managerial merry-go-round as well.
Yeah.
Seasons are shifting.
The harvest is shifting, and the manager sackings is shifting along with it.
Right?
So it is bizarre, though.
We were speculating whether it's happening just because there's a lot of talent on the market at the moment.
Yeah, there are a ton of managers available, so that does obviously make things easier for a manager to sack their current manager.
So did Bowley just get nervous and jump the gun and pull the trigger? So a quick list of everybody that's on the market. We've got Pochettino, Julian Nagelsmann, Antonio Conte, Luis Enrique. Those are the most common names batted around, but we also got Zinedine Zidane out there floating.
Yep.
Although I think it would take quite a project to lure him. I don't think Tottenham stand much of a chance.
I don't see anyone who needs a manager right now fitting him.
I know Spurs fans had their eyes on Nagelsmann. It seems like that ship might have sailed.
Yeah, they might lose out to Chelsea
Rumored
now,
she's already en route to Chelsea.
which is not shocking, to be fair.
No, I mean, it would explain the impulsivity of Bowley, like we just talked about.
Yeah.
But it still paints him in a negative light in terms of long-term ownership quality.
Absolutely.
In my eyes.
I don't see anything drastically changing quickly with Nagelsmann at Chelsea.
Right.
I don't think it's going to just flip the switch and they're going to be good again.
Well, I think it's really funny because they just got rid of Tuchel because of personality conflict. We talked about this at Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich, we were laughing. They got rid of Nagelsmann because he's a strong personality and there are a lot of conflicts.
And then they hired
They
Tuchel.
just swapped managers, and they both have the same personalities. They're both really, really difficult kind of maverick managers that are going to demand to be the alpha in the room at all times.
Yeah.
We'll see how that jives with ownership, but it's funny. I think they both swapped the same asshole.
Yeah.
In just different
pretty
skins.
much. Yeah. It's like that Sunny episode where they're at the market and he's like, that's the same fish. They just pass the same fish back and forth. It's like, that's exactly what they just did.
That's incredible. Oh, my God. This episode of Soccer Situations is brought to you by Littlefoot Coffee. I mean, what can I say about Littlefoot Coffee? They're not just friends of the pod, they're family of the pod, quite literally. Alex started Littlefoot years ago after more than a decade of roasting experience, roasting coffee for some of the hottest, most fashionable, and most importantly, tasty specialty coffee roasters in America. My favorite thing about it is that it's just really high-grade coffee without a drop of pretense. You're not going to find a bunch of weird, savory notes that the roaster is passing off as intentional. It's just really sweet, comforting flavors that everybody wants in their coffee. And now, for a limited time only, you can get 15% off at littlefootcoffee.com. Promo code SITUATIONS. Once again, you can get 15% off at littlefootcoffee.com using the promo code SITUATIONS.
Oh, man.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm over here stewing because Liverpool fans never appreciate FSG. And despite Liverpool getting trounced by Manchester City 4-1 this week, have we seen Klopp get sacked in some kind of stupid, impulsive rage? No, because FSG know what they got.
Yeah, they know they have a good manager, and they just have to. I mean, it's a rebuild.
God, I got to knock on something, dude. That's too big of a jinx for me to even not be superstitious about.
Right, about him getting sacked in like a
I
week.
checked the net, and it's announced right now. Of course, there were a lot of dramatic headlines about the chasm between Liverpool and City this week. I
saw those.
I saw it when I was watching the game. Of course, you're watching that, and you're seeing that Manchester City are a better football team than Liverpool right now. Yeah. It's not.
Is that a surprise?
This
No.
team is. This Liverpool team is so depleted. We don't need to overthink it more than that.
Yeah.
The story has been told. Klopp pushes this team to the breaking point to keep up with City, and then the team breaks, and it takes a season or two to fix it and put it back together.
Yep.
So
you need to some refreshing, some healthy players with the.
Yeah, I gotta adopt. There's always next year. That kind of attitude. Gotta be like a Cubbies fan.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously like European places are pretty important. Like,
Right.
If you can at least hold on to a Europa League spot, that's crucial.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about your Asian squad,
Right.
and in key positions.
Oh yeah, it's a big rebuild. Klopp has also, if I'm going to be an optimist, he's made some pretty strong statements by his standard that deals are being done in the background. He said, literally, we are busy. There are a lot of talks happening. So I'll take that in a good light. Also, I'm just more zen about it these days. I don't know if it's the fact that I've seen darker days. I've seen us out of Europe for a long time.
Yeah,
I've seen us floundering in Europa League and been grateful for Europa League. And also, I think the fact that there's so much money in the league now and there's actually way more competition for these top four spots.
Yeah.
Takes some of the pressure off too. I think we all have to just accept that no matter how good we are, there's going to be a rotation of Champions League teams in the Premier League at this time.
Yeah,
in
there's
this
going to be
era.
seasons where you're not in it now.
Right.
You can't just guarantee being in it every year anymore.
There's too much power in the league. unless we can bully UEFA into giving the Premier League 8 slots.
Yeah, right.
Which I wouldn't rule out either.
Yeah.
If La Liga and Serie A go Super League,
Yeah.
you could see UEFA just being like, okay,
All right,
okay,
give
Premier
England
League
those
gets
spots.
8 Champions League spots.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Why not? I'm for it.
In fact, I probably just predicted the future, actually.
I know. I would hope. I mean, I'll take that over any of the Premier League teams joining a Super League all day long.
100%, dude. Yep. I feel like I've been ranting a lot. Why don't you talk about Arsenal a little bit?
We can talk about Arsenal leads. So obviously City beat Liverpool in the early kickoff. So everyone was ranting about the pressure being back on Arsenal to perform. And to be fair to Leeds, in the first half, it wasn't easy. Leeds made it hard on them, had some chances. Ramsdale played well. God, it's nice having a good keeper.
Yeah.
Like, it's been, not that Leno wasn't a good keeper. We were just a really bad team at the time. But we've been through some nightmare keepers.
So you have had some bad keeper years, though, so you know what it feels like.
Yeah, we've had some really bad keepers over the year. Like when we're looking at an aging Petr Cech as one of our best keepers in the last few years,
right?
Like that's not a good sign.
Yeah, the Almunia era was pure slapstick.
Yeah. Poor Almunia. He was a nightmare.
He looked straight out of Train Spotting, and he kind of played like it.
He did. Yeah, he cost us some pretty big games. This unfortunate stuff. But yeah, in the end, Arsenal turned it up in the second half. It took us getting a bit of a dodgy penalty to start the scoring. Jesus went down fairly easily. There was clear contact in the replay on his knee, but he was kind of heading down and looking for it.
Yeah, that contact was definitely just a loophole.
Yeah.
He was diving in it.
I think he got lucky that the contact happened.
Exactly, dude. He got a get out of jail free card for sure.
Yeah. So he got back on the scoring sheet with a penalty, which, I hate the way it happened, but it's great for us as far as getting him scoring again.
And let's be honest, in terms of dodgy penalties, it's not in the top 5 most dodgy we've seen this year. So
yeah,
let's not gripe about it
true.
too much, Leeds
No,
fans.
I mean, I love Jesus. I just,
right.
I hate when my own team does stuff like that.
Right.
So it's hard to, but yeah, it was definitely not the dodgiest penalty we've seen.
Right.
But yeah, Arsenal kind of controlled the game after that. I think Leeds still looked dangerous occasionally. Ben White had a super funny goal. It's funny because it looks like a really good goal, but he came really close to missing. He comes in late in the back post, and he hits it, and he's probably like 3 yards out, and it goes straight off the underside of the bar and in.
He sliced it straight up.
Yeah, it could have easily missed if he was just slightly further away from goal.
No, dude, he roofed it.
But no, I love a Ben White goal.
He knows that optimum drama is down off the bar and in.
It's true. It's true.
And look at that guy's face.
That guy
and tell
loves
me he
drama.
doesn't love drama.
Yeah. The earring, the tattoos, the tan. He's a beautiful man, Todd.
I feel my blood pressure rising.
He's like a
not
boy.
in a good way.
I
Thinking
love
about
it, dude.
Ben
He's like a
White's
boy band.
face.
He's like a boy band. I love him.
Yeah, bad boy band.
Yeah, the best ones, though, Todd, are the bad ones. He's a bad boy pop.
Right.
Yeah, got another Granit Xhaka goal to finish it off. Always funny. I love Xhaka scoring.
Yeah, and they're often emphatic and they look really, really natural.
Yeah.
Sometimes when he scores, he looks like a number 9.
Yeah, his finishing touch is unbelievable.
Isn't
at
it
times.
funny?
Yeah. And lately this one has been like kind of his specialty, like the running into the box like late and heading it in, like a wide open header.
Right.
Like well timed run with a header. Like he kind of loves scoring that goal right now and doing his funny little celebrations afterwards.
Yeah.
So Trossard had another assist in this game. I think he's on like 7 or 8 now. That was either 7 or 8.
I saw 7, the stat come up during the game. Did he only get 1 this game?
He only got 1
Then
in the
it
game.
was 7, yeah.
Okay, so he's on 7.
I love the raccoon man.
Yeah. What if he's been unbelievable? But so he was asked. Mikel was asked in the press conference. He's like, Trossard's on 7 assists now. Could you ever dream this up when signing him in January? And Mikel responds with, "I have some wild dreams." It's just like fucking weird ass Mikel response.
Mikel does have wild dreams. You know he's into BDSM.
Yeah, he's a weird dude. There's
Right?
something weird going on behind
Oh,
that.
he has a sex dungeon, 100%.
Yeah.
Tell me that guy does not.
He's
He has a really, really, probably a 7-step skin cleaning regimen too at home.
Oh my God, do you
like
see him?
and a moisturizing routine.
He's like Chris
7 or 8
Traeger,
step.
man. He's gonna be the one who lives to 150. That's gonna be McCallum. His hair is still gonna be jet black.
Yeah. I do like Trossard though. I like how he looks like kind of a funny little. I don't want to be disrespectful, but he does.
He
looks
does
like
have raccoon eyes.
He looks like a sidekick. I was thinking he looks like a sidekick, and then that led me to the thought that he looks like a sidekick from The Tick.
Oh my God.
Like, you know how they're like normal guys that just kind of have a little costume?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he is he is the sidekick right now for Arsenal. You know? He's got 7 assists since he's joined.
But again, in the most respectful way, he's been fantastic.
Oh, he's been unbelievable. Yeah, I'm super impressed with him and super happy. I mean, just as an Arsenal fan, this is as good as you could hope for. A 4-1 win. Trossard assisting again. Jesus had 2 goals.
Being super sad he didn't get to stay on for 3.
Yeah, being really mad when he got pulled off because he didn't get his hat trick.
That guy's sad face that already looks like a dramatic like teddy bear sad face.
Yeah, Jesus' face is one that's hard to love.
His sad face is so cartoonishly sad. I hate it.
It is. It's insane. He like the slightest sadness looks like someone's just shot a puppy in front of him.
Right?
It's insane. But yeah, good stuff. Keep the points gap the same at the top. Also, just something about seeing a 7 in front of our number now instead of the 6.
Yeah.
Like we're 72.
I love
64.
that.
Like something about that feels so secure.
Oh, I think that every single time
feels
when I see
so
that.
good.
Yeah. When you're up in the next deca. I don't know if that's the phrase.
I don't know.
But
it's very satisfying to look at.
Yep. Totally enjoy it.
I gotta enjoy it well.
That's why like car dealerships price everything blank 99.
Yeah.
And like it's a retail thing. Everything is 99.
Yep.
Because you put it down in the lower number and it feels so much lower.
Yep.
If it's in the lower 100.
You can't help it. Just it's human nature for us
Right.
to see that.
Mm-hmm. Arsenal are selling you something right now.
They are selling me something. They're selling me potential dreams, hopes and dreams right now, Todd.
Right. But we need to talk about today's massive game, Manchester United and Newcastle. I felt it and called it last week, a big, big Newcastle win.
Yeah.
And I did think the scoreline was going to be bigger than this, but I'm still proud of that call.
Yeah.
Because anyone who watched that game saw in the first half, Newcastle could have been up by 5.
I was going to say, it could have been a big scoreline.
Super unlucky that it wasn't a 5 or 6-0.
Yeah.
Yeah. Newcastle, I smelled it in the air last week, and I think it's kind of official.
Yeah.
They got their juice back.
Yeah, seems like they had a
little
moment.
slump, and they seem to be back.
They had their lull moment, and now they're hitting their stride again. Yeah, they took it to United.
Right. I don't think it's going to result in Ten Hag sacking.
No.
But it's a setback for United. I think United are winless in 3 right now. So
And Brentford next. So that's huge.
Exactly. That brings us to Wednesday, which the 2 teams we just mentioned, Newcastle and Manchester United, both have big games. United face off against Brentford, again at home, but Brentford, dangerous as hell.
Yeah.
Brentford does like to play at home, so that might that might help United here a little bit.
United definitely need to want to bounce back after this, so we'll see
they tend
how they
to
show up.
I think they're probably going to do exactly that. I'd like to see a Brentford win. Excuse me. Obviously, I'd like to see a Brentford win here, but I think United are going to bounce back from that for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think Newcastle are going to alter their result whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think they're going to just steamroll West Ham.
Yeah, in the form they're in right now, I think they're just going to easily walk over West Ham.
Right.
Even though West Ham's home, right?
It is at West Ham.
Okay.
But I think the Toon Army is going to go there and just trounce them.
Yeah. I mean, they look up for it again suddenly.
I saw someone suggest today that West Ham and Leicester fans would accept a managerial swap. Brendan Rodgers going down to West Ham and Moyes jumping up to Leicester to try and keep them up.
That would be interesting.
Rodgers trying to elevate West Ham to a new level.
Yeah, right?
It kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't remember where I saw that proposition, so apologies if I stole that from anybody.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
But I thought it was an interesting thought.
Yeah.
It does kind of make sense. Seems like a gimmick headline, but it makes sense.
Yeah, it would totally make sense.
Right? Should we look ahead to midweek?
Yeah.
We've got a lot of big midweek games, actually. I'm going to start with Bournemouth and Brighton. Bournemouth resurgent. Victorious again at the weekend.
Yeah, huge victory for them.
Moving out of the relegation zone. At home to Brighton, but Brighton might be a little bit too much of an ask for them, though.
Brighton's a tough ask for anybody right now. But yeah, you don't know. Bournemouth at home, the crowd's going to be behind them. They've had some good results.
As we said a couple episodes ago, this awesome ultra wide, tight relegation battle means almost every game is big. You look at this list and you're like, Leeds, Nottingham. This is huge relegation battle.
Leicester, Villa.
Below that, Leicester, Villa. Villa aren't in the mix, but that just puts so much pressure on Leicester. They have to win this game.
Yeah. Massive pressure.
And then at the end of Tuesday, we have a traditional big game, Chelsea-Liverpool, although this is ironically probably the most boring mid-table scrap of the bunch.
Yeah.
We said this last time, and it ended up being the dullest 0-0 draw I've ever seen in my goddamn life. So let's not curse it again. Let's hope that Chelsea being managerless and Liverpool needing a bounce off of getting thumped creates some kind of chaos in this game.
Yeah, you got to think it's two motivated squads, if anything.
Yeah. Liverpool's midfield is tapped out. Even the kids are out. Bastich done for the season. We had nobody from in midfield. I don't know who's going to play.
The Ox.
Ox, that's right.
Ox is going to play.
It's so funny that I was joking about how did I forget about Ox yesterday.
Yeah.
And since yesterday, I forgot about him again. Yeah, I'm not even going to... I missed my prediction on Chelsea-Liverpool. On Manchester City-Liverpool. I predicted a draw, so I'm not even going to try and predict this one because Liverpool, it's just pointless to try and predict them right
who knows
now.
which way that's going to go. Spots, but...
Is the Dyche effect still happening?
I don't know.
I was watching Everton really closely when they were in the relegation zone because I'm an asshole. And then he came in and pulled them out of it, and I kind of lost interest. I was like, Everton's safe now. I can stop watching. So I don't know if they're actually playing really well, if they have a chance here to come and snatch a point.
I've kind of lost track of that as well.
Yeah.
I haven't really been... I think like with the international break, I feel like I got to go back and get a refresher on where all these other teams are at.
For real. If we're being honest, for real. Sometimes you got to do that. Take a look around the league.
Yeah, because it's easy to get caught up with just focusing on one small section of the league and what's happening, like the title race or wherever your team's at.
Right. Or just watch the teams you like.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do watch, I think, more football than the average person on any given weekend.
Yeah.
But I do have a tendency to
choose.
skip teams that I really dislike.
Yep. It's hard not to.
But this is one of those fixtures that I love where I happen to dislike both the teams quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I can just watch in pure schadenfreude. Yeah, it's just guaranteed entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. No matter what kind of chaos happens.
It's one of those, it's a magic loophole where even if the game is bad, you can enjoy it because you can say, God, these teams are so shit. This is one of the worst games I've ever seen.
Exactly. Then you're enjoying that.
Right? What else catch? Oh, Brentford, Newcastle.
Brentford,
That's got to
Newcastle.
catch your eye.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. We'll see how Brentford does, I guess, against United midweek. So
Right.
they got back-to-back big games for them. But we'll see if they could take points off both those teams.
Right?
Brentford at home, especially for Newcastle. That's going to be tough for Newcastle.
Yeah, I was
That'll be a true test.
sort of daydreaming earlier this week that, if Liverpool can't be in the Champions League, it sure would be cool if Brentford could make it.
Right?
It would be really, really cool kind of fairy tale. And
What if Brentford picked up 6 points here?
This week could define it. If they picked up 6 points at Man U and Newcastle, I would start to believe.
Yeah, honestly, that would be amazing. I mean, what a story that would be.
Right?
I'd love to see it happen.
Honestly.
I mean, it's very hopeful, but
I just got really excited about it. I just talked myself into it.
getting hyped up on Brentford being in the Champions League.
I did.
I mean, it would be amazing to see Brentford in the Champions League.
Yeah. Oh, I would love it so much, dude. I'd be a full-blown bandwagoner.
Yeah, right?
Second team. Second teams are legit, man.
Yeah, right? Nothing wrong with it.
Let's move down a little bit to Tottenham hosting Brighton.
Managerless Tottenham.
Well, no. They have the Italian guy. He stayed behind.
Oh, yeah, they left one Italian behind.
Like all Italians, so you leave one of your cousins behind.
Yep,
Just
yep.
kinda
To watch over
I think
things.
Is that a stereotype?
Sounds like it.
Yeah. We're Italians, people.
So we
I
could
just
say these
feel like I
things.
need to say that at least once on the podcast if we're going to talk badly about Italians.
Which we will do.
Our grandparents were fresh off the boat. Anyway, I picked Brighton here.
Yeah, I think Brighton will be.
Tottenham have not been convincing with or without a manager.
Yeah. Yeah, unless like you say, unless like the team really hated Conte so much that they're just like happy as shit that he's gone.
They kind of did, but this is also Conte's guy. Is he going to flip the team around?
That is true. That is true.
What if he is he could be a rebel. He could be secretly
Maybe he was helping push Conte out because he wants the job.
It's a Ted Lasso plot, dude. It's the assistant manager that's secretly bitter that nobody respects him,
Yep.
and he's going to go do his own thing, and he's going to make it his own statement.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. But no, honestly, with Brighton, I just think Brighton are too good.
Exactly. We don't really need
That's
to
what it
talk
comes
about
down to.
Tottenham. This Brighton team is legit.
I think Brighton's so good.
Can go up against any team in the league on their own merits at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean that.
No,
They
absolutely.
really can. Oh boy, Alex. Look at Sunday.
Sunday. It's a big one.
That's wrapping up Liverpool's epic week of misery. Hosting Arsenal.
Hosting Arsenal. Hey,
The
at least
league-
you're hosting. You're at Anfield.
the league
Apparently, you
leaders.
guys can play there.
Well, we do.
Apparently, you
tend to
guys
play
can
there.
play football still when you play at Anfield.
It's true. If things play to form, we will lose at Chelsea.
And win
we're going to pick
against
up those
Arsenal.
3 points at Arsenal. We're really going to tighten up this title race.
I know you're gonna make it fucking sweaty all the way to the end.
Listen, we're going to do it for the drama. Liverpool fans love some melodrama.
No, you guys need to take a break.
Very
Hurt
dramatic
some more
club.
of your players.
We choose our anthem from musicals. But yeah, that rounds out the weekend, and it's awesome and big, and I'm mad
massive.
that I have a job again. Luckily, I have a service industry job now, so all I have to do is pull my ass out of bed because I never work till 5 or
true.
6 o'clock at night, so I can actually watch all these games.
Yeah, it works out well.
It works out incredibly well, and my sleep deprivation will lead to looser podcasting too.
Yeah.
It's a side effect.
But yeah, Arsenal Liverpool's big. I think. I mean, I've seen a lot of pundits saying like this moment is truly the test for Arsenal. If they can go away to Anfield and win, then the title should be theirs.
Right. Can you think back to how you felt before Liverpool Arsenal in the fall and tell me, like, do you feel noticeably more confident this time than you did then? Or were you already really confident on that day?
I don't think I was confident back then. I don't think I'm ever confident playing Liverpool.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I still feel that way about United, even though we've beaten them like 32-0.
Yeah, I don't know. We've had some brutal results against Liverpool, in big moments and seasons too. So this one's definitely making me nervous. But I do kind of, I don't agree that it's like the title's over, but this is one of the biggest hurdles we have.
Right.
Obviously we have to play City still. City's result alone doesn't affect the title. You know, we can lose to City and still win the title. It's everything else around it that is going to make it tense. And this is definitely probably the biggest hurdle we have left, or one of the biggest hurdles we have left. So yeah, I'm excited for it though.
Yeah, let's end on that awesome note.
Yeah, right.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Do you want to? How long are we in here?
We're at a good length, but we can keep going.
I was gonna say we could do a quick chat on Flo Balogun.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So we're gonna do a little U.S. men's national team talk. Not something we're known for over here.
We're really pandering to the base this week.
Yeah, yeah. But it is a big deal, I think. And as an Arsenal fan, obviously, this is kind of, we're somewhat involved in this, or like have some interest in what he chooses to do. So Florent Balogun is an Arsenal Academy player who is playing in France currently on loan. And he's the second leading scorer in France right now.
He was the leading for a long time. But yeah, Mbappe
I think
did
Mbappe
eventually
passed him.
overhaul him.
But there's a lot of excitement around him, and he notably was pretty upset when he was left out of the England squad over this last international break. He posted some things that just said, like, go where you are wanted. I think people were a little reading between the lines with that, saying
As they
he
like to
doesn't
do.
want to be at England because they snubbed him.
I mean, I think that's, if there's one way to take that, I think that's the way to take it.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't mean the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. I think we are critics of Southgate here. Like,
Yeah.
I think he makes terrible decisions all the time. Ben White has been in the form of his life at Arsenal and also didn't get a call up to the England squad.
Right. Again, for the broader listeners, England had a tradition of being a little bit of an old boys club, very much a traditionalist culture in their soccer culture. Southgate was kind of heralded as, the man that didn't want the throne. He was going to be a revolutionary, bring in
He wasn't gonna
a
be
more
part of the
diverse
old boys
roster
club.
of players, break up the
He'd
break
start
up the club,
integrating younger players into the
and
squad.
most importantly, pick players on merit.
Yeah.
But as he's gone on, sure enough, he's kind of reverted to type.
There's clearly no merit in the selections he makes at this time.
He makes the safest picks imaginable, basically.
Yeah, which I think at times even gets him into hot water. He's even going too safe to where even England fans are getting mad about it.
Oh, definitely. I think the average England fan thinks he's too conservative.
He's so conservative. It's ridiculous, especially considering the talent level that they have.
Right. There's a lot of kids out there worth rolling the dice on right now in England.
And I think Balogun was one of them. And simple as also, if you call up Balogun, you've now locked him in as a England international. Because once he makes his England debut as a senior player, he can't change his selection. So, I mean, it's a stupid move in so many ways for Southgate to not call up Balogun at this moment. And you can say like the only critic thing you could say is like, oh, he's a young player. He still has plenty of time to earn his chance in the England team.
Right.
But also he's kind of has shown it. He's done it already.
Right.
He's scoring goals regularly in like a major European league.
Right. And the kind of England traditionalism we were just talking about, I don't think we're exaggerating it, but there's already people in his age range established in the England squad, and it's going to be tough for him to break that up already.
It's true.
Like those cliques have been established.
Yeah. You would say there's going to have to be a new Harry Kane soon, but Balogun clearly doesn't want to wait for that. And I haven't seen any official announcements yet, but it's all but said and done at this point. I think that he's going to join the U.S. men's national team, which is actually really a huge deal for the U.S. They have a super young team right now that's kind of exciting, but the one thing that U.S. team has always lacked is an out-and-out number 9 striker that can score goals.
Yeah, we've never had a graceful, kind of impressive goal scorer.
Yeah, like we were talking, Josie Altidore never really hit his peaks. Like Landon Donovan, was it Brian McBride? Like all of these guys had their moments, but none of them have ever been like a true talent that like is a leading line, like leading star.
Right.
Star in like not only he'll be a star in Europe and a star for the U.S. national team on like the biggest stage.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. All of those American strikers you named, I don't know if it's just because I have a lot of issues with U.S. soccer.
Yeah.
But they're all like kind of Dirk Kuyt kind of strikers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, is he the missing piece for the States? Are we going to start seeing some trophies outside of CONCACAF?
Yeah, like it'd be interesting to see if they can actually. I mean, it's huge timing wise because the shared World Cup is coming up,
right?
Which is another huge reason why Balogun is probably wanting to join the U.S. because the U.S. get a guaranteed spot in the World Cup because they're hosting.
Yeah, it's gonna be so cool. Remember the time stupid Chicago declined a game?
Yeah, I can't believe that. Makes me so angry.
The dumbass things that Chicago spends its money on, and they didn't want
a World Cup game.
Ding dongs, dude.
So annoying.
They had to build a new $100 million police academy instead.
Yeah. Yep. Man, unfortunate.
Okay.
So it's a big chance for Balogun. I think it to be a huge get for the U.S. national team.
Yeah. Unprecedented in the forward line, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, who would like? Not long ago, you would never see a player who's prominent or like any kind of considered a top talent in Europe considering playing for the U.S. team over anyone else.
No,
if he has a chance at England.
They would have to be pretty far down the line.
Yeah. So I think it does say a lot about what the U.S. national team has going on, because he does seem genuinely interested in the project of like what's happening.
Sure.
They have a lot of young talent, like I said. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's an exciting time for U.S. soccer, which is a weird thing to say.
Yeah, it probably is. And I'm not going to be a hypocrite because I've said many times I don't really support U.S. soccer. I don't love it.
I don't love it really either.
But yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to watch and see if something happens here.
Balogun will definitely make me watch U.S. men's soccer more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Sure, I'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah. I'll watch it strictly to watch him play if he starts playing. As an Arsenal fan, and hopefully he, is a long-term player for us because I think he is potentially amazing.
Yeah, I like what I've seen.
So, yeah. But yeah, I think we can wrap it up after that. I think that's enough Flo Balogun talk.
Oh, yeah, we've got a lot here. A lot of editing tomorrow, I think.
Todd's going to be working on his day off.
Oh, yes. That's cool. I do it for the love.
Love of the game.
I'm in it for the game, yeah. All right, folks. Thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to share the podcast with anyone you know that might have any interest.
Yes, please get more people involved.
Follow us on Instagram, please. It's soccer.situations. I think it's pretty funny. I think the regular soccer situations was unavailable because I think I reserved that years ago.
Really? And you don't remember how it's
don't remember
linked?
how I registered it.
That's hilarious. You stole your own name.
So the Instagram is soccer.situations.
Which is not bad. It's still pretty classy.
Go to the website.
Soccer situation. Soccer situation.